So in this video, we're going to see how A affects our parabola. So kind of interesting, standard form, factored form, and vertex form. All of them A is the same. We usually factor it out in the beginning, bring it in at the end, and it's always the same number though in all three of the forms. So what happens, so let's just say this is our regular x squared graph that you see there. If our value of A, if it's a big number, let's just say greater, the absolute value of A is greater than 1, then it makes it narrow. So then you'll have a narrow parabola. And we'll say it's scaled vertically by whatever that number is, whatever A is equal to. And let's just say that our absolute value of A is less than 1, something like 0.5 and 0.2, some sort of decimal, then that gives us a wide parabola. And I'm going to go ahead and just load up Desmos real quick so we can just see this. So we see right here's our regular graph. So if I put a number in front, like let's say 2, you can see the blue graph. That blue graph is narrow compared to the red graph, the original one. If I put a 5, or if I put a 10, put 100, you can see it just keeps getting more and more narrow. And the reason for this is because it's just blowing up. It's becoming a bigger number faster because we're multiplying it by a factor of 10. If I were to put something like 0.1, then you can see it becomes wide. And the reason for this is because it's growing slower. At this 0.1, we're taking whatever we would normally get as an output and multiplying it by 0.1, so it has a slower growth to it, and that's why it is a wider parabola. 0.01, you can see it's extremely wide if that was the value. And then I also, if you remember, I put absolute value of A. If you remember, and the reason for that is because we're really focused on the quantity of A, not really so focused on if it's positive or negative. If we make it negative, it just flips that graph upside down. So if we put a negative, but if we put the 0.1, it's still a wide parabola, it's just that negative flips it upside down. That's all that does. So anyways, let's just look at this first example. The parabola y equals x squared is scaled vertically by a factor of 5/2. What is the equation of the new parabola? So we're going to take this y, which equals x squared, and we're going to make it a new parabola that has been scaled vertically by 5/2. So A is just 5/2, and that's it.